Hello and welcome to the USA Volleyball Show, the official podcast of USA Volleyball. We're in the midst of Volleypalooza here, but let's first get to introductions and catch up. Clarence, how are you doing?
I'm good. Are you doing okay? I saw you shaking your head as you were doing the intro. You're like, hey, no, you didn't want to do it? Let's see.
That was me like pumping myself up to go a little bit longer.
One more second.
The final stretch. Yeah. No, but how are you doing? You're just getting back from girls 11s, 13s junior national championships. Let's talk about that. How'd that go?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Well, let's talk about the flight back. I got back at 12:30 in the morning on Monday when I was supposed to originally be back by like 5 p.m. So it was a lot of delays in the airport, but reverse tracking to the actual event in Minneapolis. It was great. I mean, saw a really fun 11s final. I saw really, really, really cool 12 nationals finals too. I think that was one of the best finals that I've seen in a while too. It's been about 3 years of me going to nationals, which is good. Convention center was great. The city's great too. So many hidden gems in the city of Minneapolis too. You gotta make sure you try to explore here and there. Sad I didn't get a chance to go to Mall of America, but I did run into your doppelgänger. And we did record it. We recorded a podcast episode, but I'm just kidding. But dude, he looked just like he was insane. Same personality, same everything. Dude was so chill, and he was one of our convention center contacts. So too, so I called him Stephen the whole time.
That's great. Yeah, I did wake up or come across that text from our number one fan of the podcast, Sarah Young.
Oh yeah,
over at USA Volleyball Finance. But that was pretty spot on.
Funny because she kind of it was like, Clarence, I need you in front of the podcast banner right now. And I want to say 30 minutes before she had I walked past her going over to the championship desk, and she was like, doesn't he look like Stephen? And I'm like, who are you talking about? Because you point into a crowd, you can't really notice anything. And it was like right there. It was so funny. And
you should have done a podcast.
I've never seen Sarah more excited to take a picture. It was so funny.
That was incredible. Yeah, I loved seeing that. But yeah, it looked like you had a great time in Minneapolis. I love Minneapolis. It's been a couple of years since I've been there, but I'm sure our producer Curtis Ward, who was also on the ground there in Minneapolis, hopefully was a good host and then showed you around or gave you some recommendations. But I was a little jealous. I wish I was there with you guys.
You should have been. You should be. Absolutely. No, I'm just kidding. It's first opens, now 11s through 13s. What's next? Chicago? No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. And the events keep coming.
I know.
Glad to hear you enjoyed the 11s and 12s finals. Those are some of my favorites too, to watch, and it's always crowded too.
Mm-hmm. And everybody's always my height. Like, what are
that's right.
Like, what's in genetics these days?
They're always my height. They're always your height. And you're a little taller than me. They're always your height. And they've got Division I scholarships lined up now
already. You can't even be looked at it.
They got scouts out there watching them play.
Oh no,
but it's fun to see like the older girls from the same club. They're cheering on too. That's always fun, and all the parents there.
A lot of them. They competed at GJNC 18s, and they were team managers on the bench and
that's
with the smaller age groups. And then, man, one of the most fun clubs obviously is A5. I think Atlanta won one of them. We'll probably bring that up in a little bit, but they brought a cheering section, and they definitely won the award for most style points. I think I saw Dad in those. Those Astro boots that people have been kind of posting across social media, the red ones.
No,
I saw them in real life, and I was like,
"That's incredible."
But they were like swag surfing when the team won. They were in the corner, shouting and doing all their cheers. So it was a lot of fun to watch too. So shout out A5 volleyball.
Yeah, I love seeing when the parents get into it.
They're so into it.
I think it was A5 and Mad Frog last year, and
I was gonna say, yep, it was
one of those finals last year, and I couldn't tell who wanted it more, the players or the parents.
Definitely the parents. I think the Matt during registration, it was funny too. Matt Frog always has like 18 teams.
Yep.
They roll to Nash, roll to
Yep.
Yep. They had 18 teams and 18 teams worth of parents, and they showed up to you. Once you see the sea of green coming to your court, be very, very intimidated because they will let you know that there's hair on the court. It's that
Right.
And I think it was OP2 also had some crazy parents and balloons galore. It was insane. I was like, who let you in the building with those? But hey, not my jurisdiction.
How'd you get those in here? How'd you get past security?
So it was very fun. And then I loved seeing some of the dads go crazy for Tutu Day, the theme day. They showed up.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Ooh, I'm excited because I'll be at Girls 14, 17.
Oh, you're going to get so much fun content.
Yeah, there's a tutu day, theme day then too. I think a sock day as well.
Yeah, crazy sock day. I got to look at my sock jar and make sure I pack some.
I'm excited for the content out of that. But yeah, glad to hear that 11s, 13s went well and we keep rolling. We got 14, 17s coming up and of course boys junior nationals as well overlapping. So it's a crazy summer, but it's gonna be a lot of fun for sure. And you'll be in Chicago, right?
Oh yes, I will be in Chicago. One last event, and we are done for our season.
Nice.
Not saying thankfully like that, but just break. Everybody needs a break every once in a while.
Well, it's been a little crazy for you, back to back events for months. So yeah, you deserve a break. You deserve a little bit of
we all deserve it. Let's take a break right now, actually. Just hold our laptops, end this episode, and I'm just gonna
Well, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you in Chicago.
This will be a good time.
We'll find some good content and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good. Well, that was great. I love catching up with you because like you said, you're busy. I'm busy. We got a lot going on. We don't see each other as much as
I should. This is the base.
But let's move on with the episode because we have a fantastic one for you. But before we do, if you haven't listened to our previous episode, we talked to 3-time Olympic medalist and now announced assistant coach for the Nebraska Husker women's volleyball team. Jordan talks about her decision to return to the U.S. women's national team, excitement to host the Volleyball Nations League final round in Arlington, Texas in July, and looks back at the experience and the emotions of winning the first Olympic gold medal for the women's program, and so much more in that episode. It's a must listen. It's doing gangbusters right now. It's blowing up. It's blowing up the internet right now. Everyone's listening to it. So if you haven't, check that out. You can listen to it on all podcast platforms, or you can watch it on the USA Volleyball YouTube channel. Now throwing it over to Clarence with news with yous.
Speaking of VNL, speaking of the return there, the U.S. women's national team ended week 2 of the Volleyball Nation League by sweeping Brazil in front of 10,000 fans in Brasilia, Brazil. Yes,
but that was wild to be there.
I don't know why. Oh my goodness, I don't know. That atmosphere, can't even imagine. Gosh. But yeah, the squad is now 5-1 heading into week 3 beginning June 27th against Poland in Korea. A big thank you to everyone who attended the 2023 Girls 11s through 13s Junior National Championship in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Shout out to Curtis Wards. That is his hometown. Oh yes. Congrats to all of the division winners. XL 11 Red, LV 12 Team Rocks, A5 12 LA, Drive Nation 12 Red, AVA Texas 13 Adidas, Wave 13 Riley, Alamo 13 Premier, Legacies. Well, I'm thinking Pegasus. Excuse me. Legacy, like a lot. I've seen one. Oh my goodness, Legacy's gonna hate us. I'm just kidding. Legacy 13 Adidas, Iowa Powerplex 13U Black, and OP12 13-1. Shout out those balloons. But yeah, 11 through 13 was a really great time too. So again, shout out to all those teams. There was a lot of finals on that last day. We had nine in a row, but we got it done. And congrats again to all teams there. Congratulations to 2 U.S. Beach pairs, Corinne Quiggle and Sarah Schermerhorn, and Hagen Smith and Logan Weber. That was a lot of back-to-back names. Hopefully I didn't butcher anything. But The two pairs qualified for the Pan American Games by winning the qualifier in Manhattan Beach, California. Staying on the beach side of things, Kelly Kalinsky and Haley Harward and Andy Benesh and Miles Partain qualified for the 2023 FIVB Beach World Championships while competing at the Norseca qualifying event in the Dominican Republic. Kalinsky and Harward finished second, and Benesh and Partain took an injury default to finish fourth. Volleyball Nation League is coming to the United States. That is right. Watch the world's best volleyball athletes in person on home soil, beginning with the men's week 3 leg hosted in Anaheim, California, July 4th through July 9th, and then watch the women's finals in Arlington, Texas from July 12th through July 16th. That's right. Buy your Vino tickets for Anaheim and Arlington right now. And then for more on all the latest news, visit usavolleyball.org. All right, on to today's show. We have Colorado Springs Olympic City, USA native and U.S. men's national team outside hitter Cody Kessel joining us to talk about where the squad is at as they compete in the Volleyball Nations League. We also congratulate him on his recent engagement to his fiancé, Nina. We talk about his background, how he was introduced to the game, what it means to wear the USA jersey for him, and so much more. Let's jump into it. Here's Cody Kessel. Cody, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. I know you just got off the plane, probably barely got your bags together before you had to hop on this call, so we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah, sure thing. Timing worked out really well. The travel squad's just coming back from Ottawa, so a few days here in Anaheim, and then the next travel squad will be headed off to Rotterdam for week 2.
For the record, you did tell us that this time would work for you, so that's a little bit on you, I think.
Yes, I think Monday we'll be back.
Yeah, no worries. No, I'm glad this worked out because we're happy to have you on. But first and foremost, congratulations on the engagement, your recent engagement. Tell us kind of how it all went down for you.
Oh man, yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited about that. We, especially in the season, we don't get a lot of time off, and our schedule for the playoffs this year just happened to we got through our quarterfinals series quite quickly, and our coach rewarded us with 3 days off. And it was a surprise last minute trip to get out of Berlin, and took my fiance Nina to Amsterdam and had this surprise proposal. I already asked her dad. I had done so much prep beforehand. Then I did some planning with the last minute photographer and videographer, and then just knew it was the right time to ask, because I didn't want to ask and then have to go to morning lift the next day. So we were able to have 2-3 days just to ourselves to enjoy that.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that you have those days to kind of be together after the moment and spend some time with each other. That's great that you were able to do that.
Yeah.
How did is it Nina? Was it Nina?
Yes.
How did you and Nina meet?
We've been in Berlin. She's born and raised in Berlin. Her family's from Berlin, speaking German. I'm now going into will be my 8th season in Germany, my 9th season overseas. So I'm speaking German now. I'm feeling very comfortable over there.
Wow.
And, we met 2.5 years ago, kind of just during that COVID time. It's just been amazing since then. And she's the one. It's my partner. So
that's awesome. Yeah. How have you started any wedding planning? I'm sure it's just like been a whirlwind for you right now, especially kind of gearing up for BNL. But yeah, have you started wedding planning at all?
It has. The great news is she'll be able to visit for a few days in Rotterdam, actually. So
awesome.
Looking really forward to that. We're probably going to delay the wedding until summer of 2025. We just have a lot of things to plan and decide on building up to that. So we're not going to rush it. But yeah, we're super excited.
That's great. Yeah, I always, when my wife and I were kind of, when we first got engaged, we talked about that too. We're like, let's just enjoy being engaged and just being with each other and not really rush things. So I'm glad you're able to do that.
Yeah, thanks.
Are you leaning towards Colorado at all for a wedding? Berlin?
We're kind of leaning towards more like a smaller destination type wedding, and
Love that.
maybe Spain, maybe Italy, somewhere with sun. That we want to
Somewhere
make
to
sure we
sun,
have
yes.
sun, yeah.
Those
Because
sun makes for great photos too. So
you can't count on that in Germany. Colorado, maybe, but yeah, we still have a lot of decisions to make actually, but we're just really excited.
I'm sure you're seeing all the weather updates in Colorado. We're getting rain, hammered with rain for weeks now. That's kind of out of the ordinary.
But some days of sunshine on average, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, kind of kick things off here. Would love to learn a little bit more about you. Is there anything that fans, might not know about you? Any hobbies or interests you have? I know you used to be kind of a big gamer back in the day, but anything like that?
Yeah, I did used to be a gamer. That's the kind of the tagline I tell people sometimes is I was a professional gamer before I was a professional volleyball player. So in high school, I've always loved strategy and competition and games. And I got really hooked into Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, which is actually, even during a period where I had bizarrely broken my thumb or pinky in lacrosse, but I could still kind of sit and play with the controller. And I just love the strategy and the teamwork, and I just got really hooked into that. Climbed my way up the leaderboards of the internet. We had this internet ranking site, and after about 8 months, I was really excited because I had the really professional headphones, and I would play probably unhealthily late into the night to get really good. But I always took care of my schoolwork. Always was still staying active, but got really into that. And I game less now, but still, I mean, even recently with the team, sometimes it's quite fun. So.
Yeah, there's quite a few gamers on the squad on the U.S. men's team as well. But yeah, did you have a favorite game you like to compete in, or even just not even competing, just like a casual game you like to play?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Max Holt and I have been doing some chess battles recently. That's been a lot of fun. Some other guys jumping in for the occasional game. So, and then Super Smash Bros is the big hit right now with the team. So we like to get the switches out, and I like joining the guys for that. I'm not by any means the best player. I'm towards the bottom, but some good competitive battles and certain some downtime.
That game has kind of exploded from what it used to be. I think it started off with like 8 characters back in the N64 day, and now there's like 32 or like 50 or something. I don't know what it is, but and just the visuals of it is a little bit overwhelming, but definitely a good time.
Yeah.
I know. So you mentioned you like strategy and stuff. I know the U.S. men, and years past, we've had a couple guests on talk about Settlers of Catan. You guys still get into that at all?
Yeah, I played a bunch of games with Dustin and Jeff and some of those guys. We used to settle also through the COVID time. That was a big hobby of ours. So anything like that. I mean, you put tic-tac-toe in front of us, we're going to get competitive. So it's just it's a fun group to play any kind of games with.
I love that. I love hearing what the squad does after, matches or between matches, kind of off the court. It's pretty interesting to learn more about you guys.
Totally.
Of course, we know your dad, John Kessel. For those listening right now, John, your dad was my first boss at USA Volleyball. I worked for him for a couple of years before I kind of moved over more into the media side, working with him in sport development. But and I'm sure he had a huge influence on your kind of upbringing into volleyball. But could you tell us a little bit about how you were introduced to the game of volleyball?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Colorado Springs, and often was just a gym rat. My younger sister and I, Mackenzie, were those kids just kind of running around, either random times at my dad's office or at the Olympic Training Center. I remember looking up to athletes like Clay Stanley, Reed Pretty, and then later the sitting team athletes, Eric Duda, Katie Holloway, Kendra Hall. Those players were idols and people to look up to. And then my sister and I were lucky enough to travel to the United States and the world also with my dad doing various volleyball clinics. So I was always around. I started playing competitively in the summers when I was 12 with my dad at grass doubles in the Vale King of the Mountain father-son, father-daughter volleyball tournament that's still going. and that's when I got hooked. So I played summer volleyball and occasionally a little bit in the winter, some different camps, but I stopped lacrosse and all other sports at 17. And that's when I said, hey, I really want to play at the next level and I want to make volleyball, indoor volleyball, my main focus here. And yeah, that's kind of the short and sweet of it. But
any plans to come back and play in any of those mountain tournaments? I know they're coming up here soon, and you're busy with VNL, but down the road, any plans or any interest in wanting to come back and play in those?
oh, they're so much fun. As you're saying, Aspen, Breckenridge, Steamboat, Vale, and I know there's more popping up.
Yeah.
I remember when I, from about 18 to 20, 21, 22, my partner Skylar Del Sol and I played a bunch of those tournaments. That's where for me, I think was really a game changer for any young players listening out there. For me to catch up to the other guys is I was just out on the sand playing every day as much as I could. There was the island, which will host one of these AVP next type events coming up, was this kind of bar and grill, and it had volleyball from 6 p.m. to midnight or 1 in the morning. And we would play in the morning. If we'd maybe go lift in the afternoon, and then we'd play all the way through the night or the evening. And those 2 or 3 summers of AVP tournaments, traveling Colorado tournaments, is where I was really able to catch up in reps and skill development and learning how to compete and be professional and treat yourself as I say we treated ourselves as pros before we ever made any money. We did that for 2 or 3 seasons on the beach, seeing kind of grinding through that tour. So
yeah, I was going to mention I was there when you and Skylar won in Aspen, I think it was.
Yes, that was a big breakthrough tournament for us. Wow, yeah, that's a great memory too. That was a huge deal for us, just to show that I think we were the youngest team to win and the first Colorado team to win it in a long time, and it just gave us so much confidence and was a big stamp of approval and so much hard work that we put in just that summer and the summers before. So
yeah, I think that was my first year or first full summer, I guess, in Colorado, and my first exposure to the volleyball scene in Colorado, kind of the adult scene with all those tournaments, and just got hooked right away. And I played collegiate club before, but nothing like outdoor really. And just to see the standing room only around those courts, those sand courts on that championship day, and just the party environment, yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't want to be a part of it. It's just so much fun.
the atmosphere is amazing. That's what
Yeah.
hooked me too. I mean, I remember Casey Patterson, and
Yeah.
I remember maybe Ty Loomis came up and played one of the Motherlodes when I was 15 or 16. I just went, whoa, this is men's volleyball. This is awesome. So
Yeah.
I got kind of hooked into the game extra through all of that.
Well, kind of sticking with your backstory here into volleyball, you also played 4 years at Princeton University. Could you talk a little bit about, playing at Princeton, what that was like for you, what that experience was like for you?
That was incredible. It was totally life-changing too. I worked really hard in school at Palmer High School in Colorado Springs, but I didn't really know that I could play Division I at the next level, or what that path was going to be. I was 6'2" when I graduated high school. I was a super late bloomer, and I grew. Ended up, it was a longer story where he decided to take a gap year and send me out of here. And I remember, my class of 200 kids, I was one of the only ones not going to college right away, and it ended up being a really great decision for me. I helped my dad as a volunteer intern, so actually at the USA Volleyball offices for that year, was just in and out doing random tasks across all events, copy, intern, whatever you got, whatever anyone needed, event setup, you name it, as just an unpaid volunteer. And I coached and I played and I just went full into volleyball. And luckily, it's a longer story. I had to cover a bunch of it in my book, but I ended up getting a likely letter to go to Princeton and to compete as a volleyball athlete there. And it just was totally life-changing, especially after knowing what it's like to kind of have a real year of work. Competing as a Tiger was amazing. I also was lucky that I got to play and start all 4 years mostly as an opposite hitter. We kind of changed the culture in the program Will Soroki, Tony Ensberry, a bunch of other guys, great players that were there with me as well. That was just a small class. It just was unbelievable time for my development as a player and a person.
What was it about Princeton that made you want to play there? Was it, some of the on-court stuff, the coaches there, or was it more of the academic side of it?
Yeah, it was just an amazing combination. And to be honest, at that time, it was one of the only schools at Division One that wanted me or could take me, and that I could afford to go to school to. So I think that's another thing. I think the high price tag will scare a lot of people away from applying and from considering those schools. It's one thing we learned we didn't know. Need-based financial aid for a lot of families can be super helpful. So I encourage people to look into those schools and apply anyway, because I ended up getting a bunch of help from the Princeton endowment, basically, whatever 20 billion or whatever it is that I was able to graduate without debt, without student loan debt, which was just also the biggest gift to my life and my professional career moving forward. I'm not sure that I would have been able to do that without that support. So,
What did you end up studying, majoring in?
I was a history major, American history major, and I was able to do my thesis on the history of volleyball.
Oh, that's cool.
Anyone can get that for free at the link in my bios, my social bios. You can scroll down from 2015. But some of the quick hit fun facts from that are the inventor of basketball and the inventor of volleyball at one point in time were directly played against each other in a game of American football. So James Naismith played this football, old school style football game in 1896 or 1893, 1892. And he played against this really big, strong guy. And he said, we really need to get this guy on the YMCA team. And that was William G. Morgan. And he got recruited to the school and then ended up 3 or 4 years later being a director at this YMCA and came up with volleyball.
I had no idea anything about that. I obviously knew about William G. Morgan, but didn't know about the prior stuff that he was involved in too. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I got to dig into a bunch of that stuff. And for anyone curious, don't hesitate to reach out for more stories or more info on that. That was, and the thesis is a really big project. You have to do something that you don't have to do something you care about. But for me, I was going to write this little mini book, which my first guest book, 80 pages or something. It was all the research that you got to do. I got to go to the library in Colorado Springs. I was asking a bunch of people for random books so that they had. And that was also quite a good academic experience to be able to pull that off. So.
You mentioned your book a couple times. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you had written a book. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and what that is?
A recent passion project. I really wanted to encapsulate a bunch of my lessons that I've learned all along this whole amazing volleyball journey. I know I've had a unique upbringing and unique perspective on the sport, and then all these years overseas, and I just wanted to have something to point readers to go, look, here's my main 11 big lessons that I've learned, these principles that have stayed true throughout my time in volleyball, and kind of letters, I try to keep my story short because it's so unique, but then I try to get into lessons right away. So I published that in end of January, February of this year. I've been working on it for about 2 years. So you can use discount code champions. So my professional team won the Triple Crown. We won the 3 titles you can win in Berlin and Germany this season. So you get 33% off with code champions. Maybe we can do a USAV extra discount. So
I was about to ask where we could find that. So that's perfect. You got that plug in there. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, for sure. That's on all my social and bio links. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. And we'll have our producer here, Curtis, make a note to add those links in our show notes too.
Sure,
for the episode. That would be great.
For the deeper dive. But yeah, I'm so glad that you guys had me on. I can share more of my story, and I just love that you guys are doing this and bringing so many volleyball voices to the forefront in so many spots. It's great.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on. We love having this platform to allow the athletes just to kind of talk more about themselves and their journeys, because a lot of the youth that are listening to this will have a tie with someone, maybe, for you who was 6'2", coming out of high school and, not getting a lot of attention from colleges. There's probably a lot of athletes out there that can relate to that. And maybe a gap year is also relevant for them too. So
Something
definitely,
to
yeah.
consider. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked out amazingly for me, but just obviously keep working hard, but there's so many ways to keep playing into your early and late 20s, especially as a guy. You just tend to be later maturing. I'm so happy to see more opportunities on the VLA and the PVL, and on the women's side, it's just exploding. So I just don't limit yourself after college. If you can find ways to keep playing, keep improving, whether that's on the beach or indoors, it can be a much longer term sport than a lot of people realize.
Kind of sticking on that, any additional advice that you'd have for a boys player who you might be out there, kind of just beginning their journey? They might even just be a freshman right now, but kind of they want to take that next step to play in college one day. Just any advice from your experience, drawing back on that?
Yeah, I think one of the first things that pops into mind is if they are playing their fall school, high school season or their club season, that's great. Find a way to do that. Mitch Beal and I would drive 90 minutes to Denver to find boys volleyball at that time. We were younger, we played against the girls or church leagues or co-ed fours, whatever volleyball we could find. But the real difference maker for me was the off season, where I was able to play beach, play fours, indoor, outdoor, wherever you can find it. But you just have to put that time in if you want to be elite, and find ways to get those game-like repetitions in whatever way you can get that, even if it's not at the highest level. I mean, the amount of random church open gyms I went to, that was, on the Wednesday night, there was a spot open there, and then Friday night, someone needed it, someone to fill in at the island. Luckily, I was able to drive there or whatever. So it's all those little things just added up to get me there. And so that's kind of, I think, entry level requirement. Then we can get into all the skill stuff, position stuff, how you're spending your time on the court. I think that's another advantage of mine that I go over a lot in the book, is the amount of time that I was spending with the ball, really going over the net and actually playing volleyball, and not doing something that maybe isn't quite as volleyball like. I think those are some these things that spring to mind right away.
Oh, appreciate you sharing that. That was great. I'm curious, was it the Woodman Valley Chapel
Yes,
open gyms?
they still have it.
They still go on. Yeah, they still go on.
It was things like that. The big house had
Big
fours
house, yeah.
leagues. There was always holiday tournaments, reverse co-ed fours at the island. I mean, these things are when I was all those tournaments, especially playing against men, so that it turned out to be a hidden advantage for me. So don't feel like you have to play 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, 17s. A great advantage for me is when I was 14, I had to start playing in 15. I started playing against the men in the Rocky Mountain region local volleyball tournaments. And so I learned the faster speed of the game, tools and tricks and tips from these older players, experience shots, experience things to do. So that Colorado indoor and beach scene truly helped raise me into the player I am.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about your background, kind of getting into volleyball. That's cool that just to hear, because I was in Springs for 6 years, I guess, kind of hear we were kind of around the same stomping grounds a little bit there with those open gyms and stuff.
Totally.
That's awesome. You kind of mentioned it a little bit before talking about Berlin, but how was your season this year with the Berlin Recycling Volleys?
It was great. We accomplished all of our team goals. We won the preseason cup, and then we went on to win the March Madness style single elimination German Cup in the finales in front of 10,000 fans to bring the men's and the women's final together. And that's always an amazing environment and atmosphere to be a part of. And then we were also able to go on and win the championship at the end of the season too. So, and then so there's the cup, there's the German league, and then there's Champions League. So since we're the champions of Germany, every season we're competing against the other champions, the first or second, or maybe even third place teams from Italy, Poland, Russia. We ended up falling to the Italian team Perugia in the quarterfinal, but we had some strong performances and some good battles against Micah Ma'a's team. Ankara beat us
Cool.
a couple of times with Namir, but we were able to get through Zirat with Juan Torrena. So some of these names, again, for younger listeners, you guys can go on YouTube. You can watch these highlights of the highest levels in Europe. I didn't know that until I was 18 or 19, that you can go at any moment, YouTube, and find the highest level of men's volleyball being played right now. It's such a gift to a younger player to be able to watch that high level and to see what players in your position are doing, how they're moving, what they look like. I think that's another thing to definitely look into for anyone listening. So now it's on YouTube. Before it was MMG and volley videos. That was a big one I would watch. It was end game line film of the Polish Bundesliga, which is one of the best, with all the dead time cut out, so you can watch a full match in 20 minutes, something like that. And that's also, I can recommend that for younger players.
It's cool to hear, even from back when you were younger, watching those videos, how much it's grown and more accessible now, even now, for people to go watch, full matches, highlights, whatever, of, like you said, the highest level of men's volleyball.
It's amazing. Yeah, take advantage, young players. Take advantage. It's out there.
You mentioned playing in front of 10,000 fans. What's that like? What are you used to that now? Is that what's that experience? I can't even imagine like what that is like, being on the court and just seeing all those fans around you.
It's incredible. I get chills thinking it's incredible. It's something that we put so much of our heart and our soul and so much work and spirit into, to be ready for moments like that, and then to get to show it and celebrate it and enjoy it in front of a big crowd like that, is really special. So I've had maybe 5, 6, 7 times in my career that I've had crowds of that size. And with Team USA in Brasilia last summer was my first national team start, in front of a huge Brazilian crowd. And yeah, unfortunately, a couple of days ago, we just fell to Brazil. The competitor in me doesn't love that, but it was a good battle, and we're moving forward from that. But it's just electric, and you're lucky when you can channel it and use it for your game. So.
Those Brazilian fans are pretty intense too.
They are. They love volleyball.
Yeah.
They love their team.
So you've been playing professionally overseas for, is it 8 years now? 9 years?
8 years. Yes.
8 years.
Going back for 9 years.
That's wild to think that. But yeah, what's been your favorite part about playing overseas? And is it the fans? Is it the competition, food, cities? What's your favorite part?
Favorite part is tough. It's kind of, it's just my adult life, over like asking me about my life the past 8 years. But I think it's something along the lines of just getting to live in a new culture, a completely new way of living and seeing the world and being. And that's something a lot of people don't get to do. For sure, people get to go on vacation, but to truly live in a place for 6, 7, 8 months and to understand the culture in that way, it's just a really unique opportunity. So I think that would be one of my favorite things about the whole experience.
You talk a little bit about, as you mentioned, it's like asking about what your life is like. You're over there for 8 months out of the year. It is your life there, but yeah, kind of the struggle about being there for 8 months, kind of away from home, or just kind of what you're used to here in the States.
Yeah, it's so much sacrifice too, especially in your first years. People don't realize sometimes, especially if you're a professional team athlete and then maybe a national team athlete on top of that, you are maybe playing 11 or 11 and a half months straight of volleyball, sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in a row. David Smith, Eric Shody, some of these guys have just been going and going and going. I know it's sort of similar on the women's side. So, sorry, what was your question? Oh, the struggles. Yes, of course, there have been so many dark moments. A classic one, or reminder for me, is my first season in Switzerland. I really struggled. It was just so much new new demands, new expectations, new culture, new systems, new types of volleyball. And I got injured, kind of pushed myself into an ankle injury, and just thought I maybe would never play professionally again. So to look back at some of these moments and go, wow, to go through that and through those dark moments with the help of the support system, and with the help of friends and family, and then USA Volleyball has stepped up and been a support for us in the summer, or for athletes, for a lot of athletes, who are able to take advantage of that. I think that's one thing that we have that I've seen get so much better in the past years is the way USA provides such great resources for its athletes, especially talking to players from other countries. They just aren't as lucky as we are to take advantage of the resources that in Anaheim USA provides. So.
Yeah, you're talking about just kind of relying on the resources you get with USA Volleyball, probably relying a lot of on your teammates that are kind of going through the same situation. They're living the same life as you, so they understand. But what are some of those? How do you get through those dark times as you're so far away from home and going months and months and months in a row playing volleyball overseas?
You lean on your team, your network, your friends, your family. For me, reading a lot of books was always really helpful. But you do really immerse yourself in the culture. So finding ways to still take advantage of the opportunity that you have, and just finding all the, again, it sounds really cliche, but all the little things that make an athletic life or an athletic journey so valuable. So getting to wake up and go train in the gym in the morning, and then in the afternoon, that's a blessing to be able to do that. It's really part of the living the dream side of things. But there is a dark side to it. So many players, we do sacrifice so much of our relationships and our time with friends and family, weddings, births. There's so many things that you do miss because you really are on company military time for 8 months in a row. Maybe you get the occasional Sunday off. A weekend off is rare, but so appreciated. So yeah, it's tough. It can be tough.
Yeah, appreciate you opening up a little bit about that and sharing that side of volleyball, because I think a lot of people don't understand that or see that side of it. So thank you.
So appreciated. So
moving into kind of the USA side, kind of looking back at that first time you wore the USA jersey, what kind of emotions did you feel? Do you remember that moment? What was it like?
So appreciated. So it was a moment I thought I maybe would never realize. So that was, I was charged with so many different emotions, and luckily was able to channel it into, I remember Jake Haynes, Kyle D'Agostino, Aaron Russell having an amazing game, Josh Tuning playing so well, Mitchum coming off the bench. That first start in Brazil really sticks with me from last season. Luckily able to come away with the win and just have that be a lifelong memory for sure. But it's really hard to describe and capture all those emotions that went into that, especially when you look back. When you're in the moment, when you're in the battle, you're completely lost in the moment. I mean, as you ask me now, and I reflect on, it's pretty, dream come true for a kid like that. And I even especially growing up in college, I never thought necessarily that I would be a national team athlete. It's been when I was at Princeton, of course, that was a dream, but I didn't know that I was going to ever realize it. And so just take a moment, even now that you're asking me to reflect on it, it's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy. It can be tough. So appreciate it.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of almost leaving you speechless a little bit, but because you grew up so close to it, just to the Olympic and Paralympic movement, you grew up so close to it. Have you had a chance to reflect on that at all? Just what it means to you and your family to realize that dream that you had.
Yeah, maybe not enough, because I feel like I'm still in it. Tomorrow going back to work, or even just a recovery day before more work that we put in. It can be tough. I'm totally in it, so I'm just enjoying that. I think I'll have more time to reflect maybe after it's over. I try to do some of that with the book about how I got to this point, because it just seems so. It can be tough. so
appreciate it.
story worthy, or I'm one of 14 guys on the team, or one of 30 guys on the roster, and there are 29 more amazing stories about how guys got to these points. So I just love that you guys are sharing it and you're bringing it to light. So it's really important to, when you see a volleyball match, you can think of all the journeys that have come together to, create this one moment on the court for every match at the highest level. It's very cool.
As we mentioned at the top of this, we just caught you right off the plane coming back from Ottawa for week 1 of VNL, where the team finished 3-1. Great start off for the tournament. Yeah, could you talk a little bit about just how the team is feeling after that performance? Just kind of decompressing and evaluating right now. How do you think week 1 went?
I thought we were surgical and very impressive in the first 3 wins. We were just executing really cleanly, so many transition balls. The whole unit was playing really clean and strong. Unfortunately, Brazil played us in the last few sets of the last match, but we will go back and learn from it, and I know it's going to make us stronger moving forward. And I think we can only get better with more time together as a group and as a team. And it's just such a team of studs. We were so strong, so deep in every position. I think we can continue inside of the strength and show that as we move towards the Olympic qualifier summer that this is. So, of course, day by day.
Yeah, day by day for sure. What as the squad, kind of came back into the gym and you're kind of gearing up for week 1 at VNL, what was the message from Coach Barra, or even some of the veterans, like you mentioned, David Smith earlier, Eric Soji? Coach, kind of like the message, the vibe, the energy in the gym kind of before the competition started.
It's been awesome. A lot of, even younger guys that get a chance to come in and show themselves and bring that energy in that early period. Dave and Eric coming off of back-to-back and back-to-back Champions League victories. It's the biggest volleyball competition in the world for the men, or at least on the professional side. And dominated that the past 2 years. So for them to come back 10 days later or less and to be right back into the gym and in the mix of it just means a lot. And it's just such a strong professional group, and the vibe is really good. And it just makes for a really strong USA, the combination of all those things. So for sure, there's been great input from all the coaches, from the staff. We have everything from medical, Javier Weber, Matt Ferber, John Sparrow, all the way down. Everyone's just awesome job. We have Bex and on the last trip, and it's just such an amazing group of resources. Nate's crushing it. So the team around the team can be stronger and just make us all better.
Kind of looking ahead to week 3, getting to host on U.S. soil in Anaheim. What are your feelings about that? Getting to host, such a major leg of a big tournament of this magnitude, right here in the States.
We love it, and you'll probably hear a lot of this, but we just don't get that many chances to play close to home, and so it just means so much to all of us. We got some local California guys, but I think there'll be people coming from all around the States, from Hawaii, from everywhere, to come watch this July 5 through 9, right? In Anaheim.
I believe that's right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's just an amazing opportunity to see us play 4 super high level matches against some of the best teams in the world, and we get to do it right after the 4th of July, and that's just what it's all about, to play for Team USA on our home soil. Again, I'm speechless. It's indescribable. So it's just going to be just focusing on taking care of business personally.
Yeah, I don't think it's such a hard sell, especially with the host city of the national team is Anaheim, and volleyball is such a huge staple in California in itself. But for fans who might not be so familiar with volleyball, not so familiar with the national teams, why should they want to come out and watch this competition?
There's just nothing like watching it in person. You can see the highlights, but until you're there, mere feet away from these athletes from all around the world, play with maybe different styles, but still a similar, so powerful, dynamic, fast game that it is. It's just incredible to see in person. So even if you have never been to a volleyball event before, I really encourage you to make the extra trip. It's totally worth it. it's not just us playing. There'll be 3 or 4 matches every day. Be able to enjoy in one ticket, I'm sure, or combinations of tickets, and it's just so worth it to just not just watch on the stream, but to get up and come to the gym. It's a whole experience, and we'll for sure remember. Bring the kids, bring the whole family. It's awesome. We were just in Canada, and even the environment there was great. I just hope we can get a bunch of American, pro-American fans out too.
It can be tough.
That's always the goal, to get the USA crowd out there.
It can be tough.
In going back to what we were talking about earlier, just kind of the growth and the exposure that now volleyball has, men's volleyball at the highest level. You don't have to search it on YouTube now. You can just head over to Anaheim and watch it for yourself in person. So
take your own.
There you go. Yeah,
so appreciated.
You'll be close enough. So it's should be really special on that.
So appreciated. So.
And I hope again it was events like that, that spark the love, or you can see it played at the highest level. Just like the kid I was, I saw the highest level of the beach that time. Just players that are doing things that I didn't even think were possible. You see TJ hit a big, you go, what is going on here? This is unbelievable. So you got to see it live.
I would say even you hitting a big too is incredibly impressive.
We have so many impressive athletes. I mean, seeing that, seeing Micah do his thing, seeing Eric, the way he commands the backcourt, Dave. I could go on and on. We just have so many amazing athletes to come.
It can be tough.
It's a whole nother feeling to see it in person up close, and just the athleticism, like you said, on display is incredible, and it will spark a lot of dreams for kids there in attendance to want to play, or even just realizing that they can play at this high level as they get older. So definitely looking forward to that in Anaheim and having the team there.
Yeah. So appreciated.
Well, congratulations on first, making the Volleyball Nations League roster, and looking forward to seeing you and the squad compete week 2 in Rotterdam. And then, of course, week 3 in Anaheim. It's going to be fun.
So appreciated.
And just kind of really quick, tell us a little bit about your personal goals. It could be on the court, off the court, just kind of looking ahead at the season.
So appreciated.
Yeah. Personal goal is to become the best player I can be.
So appreciated.
Doing that overseas for years, but being in an environment like Anaheim, the coaching, the guys, and the environment that is, I know that's where I need to be to continue to become the best I can be. So that's the main personal goal. Team goals, I think we are one of the best teams in the world. So we just have to consistently show that, and that's going to put us in a really good spot moving forward. Those conversations and those will continue to happen as we move forward.
Well, definitely excited to watch you and the guys compete this summer at VNL. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. We're looking forward to.
Anything else that we might have left on the table? Anything else you'd like to talk about or share before we let you go here?
Yeah, and
so appreciated.
No, I think I try to. So for sure, you can always reach out to me if you guys have extra questions. But you can check the links in my bio. Try to write a bunch of thoughts. Still writing, reading, still a passion of mine. So I try to capture a bunch of my thoughts about volleyball, about different questions you have about.
So appreciated.
The one I get a lot is how to jump higher. That's obviously a really complex thing, and try to cover that. But you can check. That's the best place to see my writing and my deeper thoughts on a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah. We'll definitely include those links in our show notes here. Where can people follow you, reach out to you on social media?
Instagram. I have a TikTok on, mostly Instagram, such as at Cody Kessel, and bit on Twitter as well. So you guys can just search me and follow me. That's best.
It can be tough.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Cody. Let's we'll let you go here and get some rest after that plane trip from Canada. But really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk with me.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Stephen.
Yep. Thank you, Cody. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
Really glad we were able to catch Cody pretty much I'm guessing right off the team bus from the airport, because I think they had some flight delays, and I think left a day later than they were supposed to. But glad we got to catch up with him, talk to him a little bit. That was a lot of fun. Great to see him playing in BNL as well. At the time of this recording, watched USA play against China yesterday, and he got in towards the end of the game and got a few points. And then I think the week before he had a great game against Brazil. Unfortunately, they lost, which I think he talked about in our conversation. Fortunately, they lost, but he had a great game off the bench and gave them a spark to come back a little bit in that match. But unfortunately, Brazil got the best of him. But he had like 12 points in that. And I heard the broadcaster, get this, Cody Kessel touches 12 feet is what the broadcaster told me, or told the broadcast. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Speaking of insane, I mean, I really like, I think he has a very unique, kind of introduction and path to, collegiate and, eventually the national team. I mean, you don't really hear about too many people taking a year off after high school. It's usually just go. And then, heck, he even entered the USA Volleyball. It's insane.
That's right. That's right. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is one of his projects was the first edition of the USA Volleyball coloring book.
Really?
Which later I upgraded for the second edition, which I think is
still
the current one.
Good enough.
I took a lot of the same pages. I took some of the pages out. But no, yeah, really cool. Very interesting. We always talk about the unique paths a lot of these athletes have. A lot of the athletes at the highest level, and it's always different. And Cody's no exception to that, taking that gap year. But then later, he grew several inches and got recruited by Princeton and ended up going there for his collegiate career.
PK he hasn't been.
Hey, PK.
Pretty soon. How you doing, boy? All right, get your butt in my face. I know what you're about to do. All right. Good times. But yeah, man. I wish if I would have hit 6'5", man, I'm telling you, man. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm kidding. But
no, I wish I grew 4 or 5 inches.
Mm-hmm. Look at this all. Just reminiscing
early college.
Just like, what if there's still a chance?
I think I peaked like senior year of high school, and I was like, like freshman year of high school, and I was like one of the tallest on the basketball team. And then, of course, all my friends shot up to over 6 foot. But it's okay. That's okay.
5'9", 5'10", going into senior year. Okay, dude, move. And then, just senior year, just shot up to 6'2". I love how he just sits right here in front of the keyboard. It's fine. We'll do it. It's fine.
Hats.
Little lads.
I love that. Yeah, but getting back to Cody, I love, of course, Colorado Springs native. Mm-hmm. Grew up right here with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, the training center right here in his backyard. Of course, his dad, as we all know, we've had him on the podcast, Cody Kessel, former sport development director at USA Volleyball. So he's been around the Olympic and Paralympic movement his entire life and grew up watching Clay Stanley and Katie Holloway training at the training center there in Colorado Springs. So from an early age, he had those dreams, had those hopes and dreams of repping USA, and he's finally realized it, which is super cool and really exciting to see him, kind of realize his dream here.
I know. Sorry, I'm trying to. I don't know if he's in Zoom.
PK missed you.
He's in bite mode right now. I can't really.
I was like, don't leave me again. Don't leave me again. He knows you're leaving.
He does know. He gets this little sense in his cat mind. All right, dude. Off you go. All right, where were we?
Yeah, just great talking to Cody. I always enjoy catching up with him. He's such a nice guy too, and easy to talk to. And I wish I was going to VNL Anaheim to catch up with him more.
That'd be fun
and see him compete in person. But for now, we'll have to watch on Volleyball World TV
and watch it. Absolutely. But again, like Steve mentioned, big thank you to Cody for taking the time to chat with us. Well, actually chat with Stephen. I unfortunately had to miss, that interview.
One thing I forgot to mention, when I was watching week 2 matches, they're in Rotterdam right now, which of course, Cody played a lot of his professional career around there. So he looked like he had a lot of friends, maybe some family, a lot of fans there, and looked like he was having a good time interacting with the fans on the court after the matches. So just wanted to point that out. Hope he's enjoying that, seeing a lot of his friends there, and of course the fans that see him play on the pro side.
Like a Liberty Union.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, you guys can follow Cody on Instagram at Cody Kessel. Nice and easy. You can also follow the men's national team through July as they compete in the Volleyball Nations League. All matches are streamed on volleyballworld.tv. Trying to say this with a straight face because I am being bitten by my cat right now. I don't know what's wrong with him. But updates and recaps.
If you're listening to this, go over to YouTube and watch so you can see Clarence's cat.
I know he's going crazy right now. But yeah, updates and recaps on usavolleyball.org and USAV social media at USA Volleyball. PK, you need the show.
I'll take it away here with upcoming events. We have
with Stephen. Didn't forget that.
There you go. Of course, we have the USA Volleyball Girls 14-17 Junior National Championship June 28th through July 6th in Chicago, Illinois. The USA Volleyball Boys Junior National Championship June 29th through July 6th in Salt Lake City, Utah. The Dutch Sitting Men's and Women's Volleyball Tournament June 30th through July 2nd in Assen, Netherlands. Over on the beach tour side, we have the Southern Region Regional Qualifier July 8th in Huntsville, Alabama. The GCVA East Beach Tournament Series BRQ July 8th in Galveston, Texas. We have the U.S. Beach Club Championship July 9th through the 11th in Hermosa Beach, California. Good luck to everyone competing in those junior events. Of course, shout out to all the USAB regions for hosting and setting up those events. For more details on all upcoming events, you can find those at usavolleyball.org. Now on to the pro side. We have the FIVB Men's Volleyball Nations League Week 3, July 4th through the 9th in Anaheim, California. The FIVB Women's Volleyball Nations League Final Round, July 12th through the 16th in Arlington, Texas. The Beach Pro Tour Futures, June 29th through July 2nd in Messina, Italy. The Beach Pro Tour Futures, June 29th through July 2nd in Helsinki, Finland. The Beach Pro Tour Elite 16, July 5th through the 9th in Gstaad, Switzerland. And the Norseka Beach Volleyball Tour U23, July 7th through the 9th in Grand Cayman Islands. That's all we have for events. Take it away, PK.
He literally knocked an unlit can. I don't know what's wrong with him right now. But remember, listeners, you can rate, review, share with your friends, families, teammates. It really, 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 really does help this podcast grow and reach new listeners. And you really want to check out this video episode specifically, but check out our video episodes on our website and on YouTube, as we always thank you for your continued support. If you know a club that should be featured or a story that you'd like to, have shared or be featured, all the above, you can email us at the USA Volleyball, wrong tag, at the USAV show at usav.org. I'm going to repeat that because I stuttered. You can email us at the USAV show at usav.org. Leave us feedback. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know about any future topics you want to hear about. Comment on Stephen's doppelgänger. Everything in between, you can let us know at that email right there. Remember, new episodes drop every other Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in to the USA Volleyball Show. We're the official podcast of USA Volleyball.
This has been the USA Volleyball Show with Clarence Hughes and Stephen Munson. Produced by Curtis Ward. Our content producer is Laura Fawcett. Our marketing lead is Bree Jaycox. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to rate and review. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the USA Volleyball Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.